up YouTube? I'm back with another episode review of Boruto Naruto Next Generation. It was a good episode. It wasn't the best of this arc, I think, but it was still pretty good. We got some information and reveals in this week's episode that were pretty important, so let's get right to it, man. In last week's episode, we saw how Kashin Koji was summoning something, and that something was a toad. I don't actually know why he summoned the toad, because I think the only thing that the toad did in this week's episode was killing Ao, so I think Kashin Koji could have done something better to kill him, but I guess they did that to show us that maybe he's someone that we already know in the Naruto verse. Maybe he's someone that was pretty important in the Naruto story before, so I think that that's maybe the reason why they showed us that he can summon a toad and that he can use a toad. I'm not really sure, but I think that's why. So yeah, by doing that, Kashin Koji killed Ao, and before that even happened, Ao saved Boruto by using some ninjutsu, which is kind of poetic justice, because in the last few episodes we've heard how Ao doesn't want to be called a shinobi, he was only a tool to the Kara organization, so I thought it was a pretty cool way to end his life, saving Boruto by using ninjutsu as his last resort as a shinobi. I thought it was pretty cool. Then we saw how Kashin Koji was able to trap Boruto, Sarada, Mitsuki, Konohamaru, and Katasuke into a sealing jutsu, which is interesting, because it seems like these Kara members don't call themselves shinobi, and they don't want to use, ninjutsu or genjutsu or anything like that. So seeing Kashin Koji just using ninjutsu like that during this episode was kind of interesting. I'm not sure if the other Kara members are going to use ninjutsu, but I thought it was pretty interesting that Kashin Koji was doing that. Konohamaru was able to escape the sealing jutsu because he had a seal on his body. I'm not exactly sure what that seal was, but because he used that, he was able to just escape the sealing jutsu. I think it's the first time that we've seen something like that in the Naruto verse. I'm not really sure. Let me know in the comments down below, but I thought it was pretty interesting, because I don't think I've seen that before. But yeah, man, he was able to escape the sealing jutsu, and then there was a battle between Konohamaru and Kashin Koji. Obviously, y'all saw the fight. I don't think it was entertaining at all. I don't think that the animation was great. I expected more of that fight because it was Konohamaru, and we haven't seen a lot of him, fighting for real. We haven't seen great fights from Konohamaru. He was supposed to be the next Hokage after Naruto, so I'm not really sure how strong he really is. So I thought that we would get some great fight with Konohamaru in this series, and especially in this week's episode against Kashin Koji, but I don't think the animation was great. I'm not really sure, how the studio is right now, how many resources they have for this anime, but the animation wasn't great at all. I expected more, but I'm not going to be mad at the animators because they have a lot of work to do on a lot of other animes, so yeah, man, I just expected more, but I'm not sure what their budget is for this anime, so we'll see. Anyhow, the fight was okay, but the biggest thing that we got from that fight was Kashin Koji using the Rasengan, so we've seen how there was a clash between Kashin Koji and Konohamaru using the Rasengan. When Konohamaru used it, then Kashin Koji used it, so maybe he copied the technique. I'm not really sure, but so far in the Naruto verse, the only people that we've seen use that technique is Minato, the creator of the Rasengan, then Jiraiya, Naruto, Kakashi in a training against Naruto while he was trying to develop the Rasen Shuriken, Konohamaru, and Boruto in this current series. So there hasn't been a lot of people that has been able to use the Rasengan. So the fact that Kashin Koji was able to use it is impressive, you know. So maybe he copied it from Konohamaru, or maybe he's a character that we've seen in the past that is still alive, like Jiraiya, you know, because he has white hair. He just used the Rasengan. He summoned the Toad, you know. So there's a lot of similarities with Jiraiya, but I'm not sure it's actually him. I don't think it's him, but I think maybe a relative or a clone. I'm not really sure, but there's something similar with him and Jiraiya. That's the only thing that I'm gonna say. But the fact that he can use Rasengan is impressive. So yeah, man, that fight was okay, but the reveal that we got at the end of that fight, you know, of him using the Rasengan, of Kashin Koji using the Rasengan, was pretty cool. After that, Kashin Koji used the trance of the true flames on Konohamaru, and I think it was the same technique that he used to kill Victor at the beginning of this arc, you know, and he said that these flames cannot be extinguished by water or anything, you know. So it's basically Amaterasu but with real fire, I guess. I'm not really sure, but I think it's interesting because I'm not sure if it's actually a ninjutsu or a jutsu, or if it's just a technique that, you know, the Kara members can use, you know. I'm not sure, so we'll have to see, but I thought it was pretty interesting. Now, one of the biggest reveal of the episode is about the mark that Boruto has on his hand, you know, and it's called Karma. That's what Kashin Koji called it, and Boruto used this kind of curse mark to absorb, you know, ninjutsu. You know, he absorbed the sealing jutsu, and then he absorbed the fire that was killing Konohamaru, you know. So he activated that curse technique that is called Karma, and it is able to absorb chakra or ninjutsu, which is, you know, pretty cool. And I think it's pretty normal because we saw how Momoshiki was able to absorb ninjutsu, so it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. But yeah, man, this is the first time that we've really seen the power of Karma, the curse mark that is on Boruto right now, and I think it's interesting. You know, I'm not really sure if that's the only power that he gets with it, but you know, the markings that he has all over his body is the same thing that we saw at the beginning of the series in episode 1 when he was facing Kawaki. You know, he had these same markings. So yeah, man, it's gonna be pretty interesting to discover what is the extent of that power that he received from Momoshiki after killing him, you know. And yeah, man, just, you know, knowing that it's called Karma, it's pretty cool that we get some more new information about that kind of curse mark that Boruto has. Kashin Koji let Boruto and his friend leave without being armed, you know, and the reason for that is because he saw something interesting in Boruto. You know, he has the karma mark on him, and obviously Kashin Koji knew what that was, you know. So I really can't wait to know more about that mark. And it, like I said, Kashin Koji knows about that mark, so maybe some Kara members have that kind of mark on them. I'm not really sure if Kashin Koji himself has it, but maybe other members of his group has. So yeah, man, it's just gonna be interesting to learn more about that specific mark. We already know how this mark we can get this mark, and it's by killing a god, you know, and that's what Boruto did. So yeah, man, it's gonna be cool. At the end of the episode, we finally got to see Kawaki. Obviously, he's gonna be one of the main characters of this story because in the first episode of this series, Boruto seemed like he was fighting him, you know. So yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see. Like I said, I've liked his design a lot. I don't know exactly who he is and what he's gonna be, but yeah, man, he's gonna be a main character. He has the same karma mark that Boruto has in the palm of his hand, you know, so that's gonna be interesting. It seems like maybe he's probably the vessel that the Kara group was talking about, and it seemed like he defeated all these puppets by himself, you know. So I can't wait, man. It's gonna be interesting. I think next episode will actually be really good, so I can't wait. My bad if I've been all over the place. There's so many things that happen, but let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below, and let me know what you think is gonna happen next. I do Boruto Naruto Next Generation reviews every Sunday morning, so subscribe for that. But I also do other anime related things like Black Clover reviews on Tuesdays, which is coming back next Tuesday, so stay tuned. I usually do Dr. Stone and the Promised Neverland reviews on Thursdays, but I'm not really sure if I'm going to continue doing the Promised Neverland reviews because they've fucked up a lot of things, in the anime right now that they didn't follow the manga or anything. So I'm not sure if I'm going to review the rest of the season of the Promised Neverland, Dr. Stone either, because I just think that this specific season has been kind of boring, so I'm not sure yet. I will do Jujutsu Kaisen reviews on Fridays. I didn't do one last Friday because I had a lot of things going on, but it's coming back this Friday. I'm gonna do a little recap about what I thought about the latest episode because it was epic. But yeah, man, it's coming back next Friday. I usually also do One Piece reviews on Saturdays, so all of that will be back next week. I'm gonna be on spring break, so I'll have more time to do my reviews. But yeah, man, it's gonna be great. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me at Anime Specialist, and I'll see you in the next video, man. Anime Specialist out. Peace.